6 healthy vitamins and supplements that quietly raise heart attack risk, and the safer alternatives doctors recommend. Picture this. Every 34 seconds, someone in the US dies from heart disease. Yet millions of us are swallowing heart-healthy pills that could speed up that countdown instead of stopping it. Take calcium tablets. A 1,000 milligram pill feels like insurance for your bones. But large meta-analyses show that same dose can drive a 30% spike in heart attacks for postmenopausal women. Slide over to high-dose vitamin E, and the story gets darker. 2 landmark trials linked 400 IU per day to a 22% rise in hemorrhagic strokes. The pattern is clear. More is not better when the dose turns medicinal without a doctor in the loop. So how did pills stamped all-natural morph from safety net to trap? That's what we're about to unpack. Step by step, study by study, so you can spot the red flags before they hit your bloodstream. Welcome to Holistic Habits, where we translate dense medical journals into practical moves that actually fit your life. If you're serious about keeping your heart firing on all cylinders, hit like so this message reaches more people, subscribe, and tap the bell. Every week, we drop a new evidence-based strategy you won't want to miss. Hang tight through the full list because the last supplement looks harmless on the shelf, yet has landed patients in the ER with liver failure and sky-high cholesterol. We'll finish with the doctor-approved food and lifestyle swaps that give you the benefits, minus the danger. Ready to audit your supplement shelf and protect your ticker? Let's dive in. Number 1, calcium supplements. This one might surprise you. Calcium is one of the most prescribed supplements in the world, especially for women over 50, thanks to its reputation for strengthening bones and preventing fractures. But here's the truth. Your doctor might not emphasize enough. Isolated calcium supplements, when taken without key cofactors, can quietly raise your risk of a heart attack. A major meta-analysis published in the British Medical Journal found that calcium supplementation without co-administered vitamin D was associated with a 30% increased risk of myocardial infarction. Why? Because the calcium doesn't always go where it's needed. Without vitamins K, 2, and D3 guiding it into your bones and teeth, the excess calcium often gets deposited in soft tissues, like your arteries. Over time, this calcification stiffens arterial walls, narrows blood vessels, and significantly increases the risk of cardiovascular events. This is especially dangerous for older adults who are already at higher risk for both osteoporosis and heart disease, creating a perfect storm of well-intentioned harm. And it's not just about arterial plaque. Excess calcium in the blood can also disrupt the delicate balance of magnesium and phosphorus, leading to muscle cramps, kidney strain, and even impaired electrical signaling in the heart. Instead of relying on synthetic calcium tablets, a better approach is to focus on dietary calcium, where it comes packaged with other essential nutrients. Foods like kale, bok choy, and mustard greens are highly bioavailable and also provide vitamin K. Bone-in sardines and canned wild salmon deliver not only calcium but also magnesium, phosphorus, and vitamin D in a natural ratio. And fermented dairy products like kefir and yogurt offer both calcium and probiotics that may even enhance mineral absorption. Bottom line, when it comes to heart health, it's not just about how much calcium you take, it's where it ends up. And unless you're giving your body the full blueprint to handle it correctly, that bone support may be silently setting the stage for your next heart scare. And coming up next, a so-called heart-healthy vitamin that may actually increase your risk of hemorrhagic stroke, especially if you're taking more than you realize. Number 2, high doses of vitamin E. On the surface, vitamin E looks like a hero. It's praised for its antioxidant powers and often marketed as a heart protective supplement. But here's what most people don't realize. When taken in high doses, this healthy vitamin can actually backfire, especially when it comes to stroke risk. Multiple studies have shown that doses above 400 IU per day are associated with a statistically significant increase in hemorrhagic stroke, a type of brain bleed that can be fatal. One large-scale review published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that excessive vitamin E supplementation may increase the risk of all-cause mortality when taken long-term in high amounts. How does this happen? High-dose vitamin E can interfere with blood clotting mechanisms, thinning the blood excessively, and making the brain more vulnerable to bleeding, especially in older adults or those taking aspirin or blood thinners. But what's even more concerning is that many over-the-counter supplements contain only one form of vitamin E, alpha tocopherol. The problem? It crowds out other essential forms like gamma tocopherol and tocotrienols, forms that actually provide cardiovascular protection. This imbalance can create more oxidative stress, not less. A safer and more effective approach is to get your vitamin E from food-based sources that offer the full spectrum of tocopherols and work synergistically with your body's natural defenses. Nutrient-dense options like sunflower seeds, spinach, avocados, and almonds not only provide balanced vitamin E, but also deliver fiber, magnesium, and polyphenols, key players in protecting the heart and brain from oxidative damage. So while vitamin E can support your health, taking too much of the wrong kind may quietly raise your stroke risk. And you'll want to pay close attention to what's next, because the next one is often marketed as a heart health booster, but can dramatically increase your risk of irregular heartbeat and internal bleeding. Number 3, omega-3 fish oil, synthetic or excessive doses. You've probably heard omega-3s are essential for heart health, and they are, when consumed the right way. But here's where things go sideways. Synthetic, oxidized, or excessively high doses of fish oil can actually increase your risk of internal bleeding, irregular heartbeat, and even stroke. A study published in Stroke found that high levels of omega-3 supplementation, especially DHA and EPA in capsule form, can thin the blood too much, raising the chance of hemorrhagic stroke. Even more alarming, a 2021 review in the European Heart Journal linked excessive fish oil intake to a 45% increased risk of atrial fibrillation, a heart rhythm disorder that dramatically raises the risk of blood clots and stroke. And here's the kicker. Many cheap omega-3 supplements on the market are made with low-grade oils that oxidize quickly. These rancid oils don't just lose potency, they promote inflammation instead of fighting it. The better path? Stick to whole food sources of omega-3s that come naturally packaged with antioxidants and other protective nutrients. Wild-caught salmon, sardines, flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts offer the full omega profile without the risks. Plus, they're harder to overdose and easier for your body to absorb safely. But the next one is even more deceptive. It's something many people take every single morning, especially as they age. And while it's marketed as a vitamin, when taken in megadoses, it can harden your arteries from the inside out. Number 4, vitamin D Megadosing. Vitamin D has become one of the most recommended supplements in the world, especially since the pandemic. But more is not always better. In fact, megadosing on vitamin D, especially without medical supervision, can quietly sabotage your heart. Here's why. Excess vitamin D boosts calcium absorption in the body. And when calcium levels skyrocket without the proper cofactors, that extra calcium doesn't go to your bones. It can get deposited into your arteries. This process, called vascular calcification, hardens the arteries and raises the risk of heart attacks and stroke. A 2023 study published in Frontiers in Cardiovascular Medicine confirmed that vitamin D toxicity is associated with elevated coronary artery calcium scores, an early warning sign of cardiovascular disease. Even worse, people often combine high doses of D3 with calcium supplements, unknowingly doubling the danger. And unlike water-soluble vitamins, excess vitamin D builds up in the body over time, meaning your daily megadose could become a ticking time bomb. So what's safer? The smartest strategy is a balanced trio. Moderate vitamin D3, ideally under 2,000 IU per day, paired with magnesium and vitamin K2. These nutrients act like gatekeepers, making sure calcium gets into your bones, not your blood vessels. Better yet, get some of your D from sunlight exposure and load your plate with vitamin D-rich foods like egg yolks, mushrooms, and fatty fish. Still with me? Good, because the next supplement might seem totally harmless. But when taken without blood testing or proper guidance, it can flood your system with oxidative stress and quietly turn into a metabolic and cardiovascular nightmare. Number 5, iron supplements, unmonitored use. Iron deficiency is real, but so is iron overload. And when you take iron supplements without testing or medical guidance, you may be feeding a silent killer. Why? Because excess iron gets stored in organs, especially the liver, heart, and pancreas, where it generates free radicals and sparks oxidative stress. This chain reaction can damage arteries, fuel chronic inflammation, and even accelerate metabolic syndrome. A major study published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation found that elevated iron levels are directly linked to insulin resistance and a significantly higher risk of type 2 diabetes. And here's the part nobody talks about. Iron is a pro-oxidant in excess. That means instead of fighting inflammation, it actually creates it. It thickens your blood, stresses your cardiovascular system, and in people with underlying conditions like hemochromatosis, it can trigger heart failure and liver damage. So what's the safe route? Simple. Only supplement when a doctor confirms deficiency. Otherwise, get your iron naturally from foods like grass-fed beef, lentils, and spinach. Whole food iron is balanced, bioavailable, and far less risky. Still thinking that one small pill can't do much damage? Wait until you hear about the next supplement. Once praised for heart health, now quietly linked to insulin resistance and an increased risk of stroke. Number 6, niacin, especially synthetic high-dose flush form. Niacin was once hailed as a miracle vitamin for lowering cholesterol. But high-dose synthetic versions, especially the flush form, have a darker side. Recent studies reveal that megadoses of niacin can increase insulin resistance, elevate blood sugar, and, most shockingly, raise the risk of stroke. A 2014 study in the New England Journal of Medicine found that patients taking extended-release niacin with statins had a 9% higher risk of serious adverse events, including bleeding and new-onset diabetes. And the worst part? These risks are hidden behind the natural vitamin label. But synthetic niacin in excessive doses can cause liver toxicity, inflammation, and dangerous blood vessel dilation. Some researchers are now calling for stricter regulation due to these newly discovered cardiovascular risks. The safer path? Stick to lower doses from real foods like pasture-raised liver, chicken, and turkey. And pair it with healthy lifestyle changes that naturally support cholesterol, like fiber-rich foods and exercise. Real niacin from real food doesn't come with a warning label. Now, before we wrap up, let's bring it all together and talk about what you can do instead to protect your heart safely. Let's zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture. What do all three of these so-called healthy supplements, megadosed vitamin D, unmonitored iron, and synthetic high-dose niacin, actually have in common? The answer is simple but shocking. They were all promoted as miracle fixes, often pushed by trends or outdated medical thinking, yet each one has the potential to quietly sabotage your cardiovascular system when used improperly. And it's happening more than you think. According to data from the Office of Dietary Supplements, nearly half of all U.S. adults now take one or more dietary supplements daily. Yet, despite this surge in supplement use, heart disease remains the leading cause of death worldwide. So what's going wrong? The truth is, we've been trained to chase isolated nutrients in capsule form, thinking more is better, when in reality, the body thrives on balance, synergy, and nutrient density from whole foods. The key to true heart protection isn't found in high doses or flashy labels. It's found in restoring what's missing through real nourishment. For example, instead of megadosing vitamin D, you're far better off getting a moderate dose paired with magnesium and vitamin K2, ideally from food or sunshine, which helps escort calcium into your bones, not your arteries. Likewise, iron should only be supplemented when a deficiency is confirmed, since excess iron has been directly linked to oxidative stress and arterial damage. And when it comes to niacin, the high-dose synthetic form has fallen out of favor due to its link to insulin resistance and stroke risk, whereas real food sources like liver or pastured poultry deliver it in safer amounts, surrounded by natural cofactors the body recognizes. If you want to support your heart, the solution isn't to pop more pills. It's to correct the underlying imbalances that caused the deficiency in the first place. Focus on nutrient-dense foods like leafy greens, avocados, wild salmon, egg yolks, beets, berries, and fermented foods. These offer magnesium, potassium, omega-3s, antioxidants, and vitamin K2 in their most bioavailable form, working together, not in isolation. And here's the most overlooked truth of all. Nutrients from food don't just support your heart, they actively work with your body's natural rhythm, reducing inflammation, balancing hormones, and strengthening blood vessels. No synthetic formula can replicate that. If you're serious about protecting your heart, it's time to shift the focus away from blind supplementation and back to intelligent, food-first healing. Before you go, take a moment to really think about this. Have you been taking any of these supplements without realizing the potential risk? Have you ever asked your doctor why you were prescribed them? Or if a food-based alternative might be safer? Your heart isn't just an organ, it's your engine. It deserves more than guesswork and megadoses. So if this video made you question even one label in your cabinet, then it's already doing its job. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you experienced any side effects or unexpected results from vitamins or supplements? Drop a comment below and share your story. It could help someone else avoid the same mistake. And if you found this eye-opening, make sure to like this video, hit subscribe, and share it with someone you care about, especially if they're taking any of these without realizing the risks. Because sometimes protecting your heart starts with unlearning what we were told was healthy. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.